Hello, everyone. Welcome to my live that I'm holding. I've been holding webinars and these live events on LinkedIn so I can start sharing information that would be helpful for EB-1A visa applicants because there's just so much misinformation, missteps, thing that I've been hearing about, and even more so recently. So I wanted to do a presentation quickly today on the top three errors or mistakes that I've been seeing. Let's go to the next slide. Okay, so before we begin, I'll introduce myself. My name is Priya Alagiri. I am the CEO and founder of the Alagiri Immigration Law Firm. We are a boutique firm, and we only focus on EB-1A visa applications or NIW applications. And I have over 15 years of experience in the field, and I guess over the 15 years, I've won thousands, I would say, of cases. Next slide. So based on what I've seen within EB-1A specifically are common mistakes, and I wanted to address these and kind of explain what to look for so you don't make these mistakes. So the consequences of making mistakes, some of them are listed here. Of course, there's more. It would result in getting a request for evidence, or if you've really not filed it properly, they could just reject your application outright. There would be processing delays, of course, missed opportunities and not getting your green card sooner rather than later, stress and frustration, and of course, financial loss. So the consequences are grave in making missteps with this application. So the first mistake I see frequently when I meet with clients or review applications is failing to understand the EB-1A visa requirements. I mean, there's not a lot of information in the requirements, and the Immigration Service doesn't provide a lot of information about what these requirements really mean. So it's just the reason I know is just doing it over and over and over. I know exactly now, what they're looking for in each of the criteria. So unless you're in the arts, there are 8 criteria, and you must meet 3 out of those 8. And what many people don't realize is several of these criteria actually have 2 or more elements to them in one criteria. So for example, membership. It's not just showing that you are a member of an organization. It doesn't stop there. So that criteria, for example, requires membership in a distinguished organization. And the membership, of course, has to be exclusive, not just paid membership. But what I often see is that individuals or applicants are able maybe to show that they have a membership, but they're forgetting that you have to also show that the membership organization is distinguished. Same with the leading or critical role. That's actually 3 separate elements. And again, I just see over and over how kind of everything gets smushed together, and it's not laid out clearly in the application that you're meeting each of these. So critical role is different than leading role. And then again, finally, you have to show that the company or organization that you're with is distinguished. So that's just a short overview of the one mistake I see. So the second one in the next slide that I see is pertaining to recommendation letters. So as many of you may know, recommendation letters are key to confirming or validating your achievements. I would say they're really like the heart of your application, because you're getting people to confirm your accomplishments, and they really gain nothing from it. So it carries a lot of weight, these recommendation letters. But oftentimes when I review other people's recommendation letters, it's first I see that there could be mostly from friends or colleagues, and you can have some from colleagues. I wouldn't do it from friends. But if they know your experience, colleagues, if the colleagues know your experience and can speak to it. But sometimes I see, friends who they went to school with as recommenders, that wouldn't really work. And then also I see that the letters are written in a way that's more like a job reference. Like, he's really, like I wrote here, a team player. He gets along with everyone. So that's not what these EB-1A visa rec letters should discuss. I'm pretty sure, the USCIS is not looking for you to be a team player. You have to show that you at the top of your field, and they want to know from your recommenders what you've accomplished. So the rec letters, one should be from qualified people who know, what you've accomplished, your achievements. Should be a mix of maybe colleagues, supervisors, and independent folks outside of your circle. Two, the recommendation letters should really discuss your contributions. It should really lay out implicitly how you meet the criteria. That's because you want to get across to the Immigration Service that you meet the criteria without actually saying, oh, he meets criteria number one because. So, and then finally, you should put a lot of thought into which recommender discusses what criteria, because you wouldn't want like 6 recommenders saying the same thing over and over and over. So it requires thought and analysis, and that's oftentimes I see a lot of misunderstandings and mistakes around the recommendation letters. And I would say they're in the top 2 most important things for your EB-1A visa application. Okay, the last mistake I see. Okay, so now, you understand the criteria, you've got, you've explained it all, maybe in your support letter. You've got really strong recommendation letters. The third thing that you have to provide to the Immigration Service is documentary evidence. So paper evidence that you include in the application. And I often see that it's the evidence or the documents are not convincing, or there are no documents. For example, the criteria judging, if you're trying to meet that, you have to provide proof, evidence, like the paper documentation demonstrating that you were a judge or you're judging, or like whatever judging your doing or any of the criteria, you have to provide really strong documentation. Another one, again, a compensation. How do you prove, what documents do you provide to prove that your compensation is higher than others in the field? I often see people actually qualify for that criterion very often. I think almost always we file EB-1A visa applications with that criterion. And when I review other, applications, I see that they may mention compensation, but then there's no documentation provided or the correct documentation showing that you have this compensation. Oftentimes maybe there's no documentation or it's the wrong documentation. So that, it's just very briefly the mistakes or missteps that I often see, and I wanted to bring to your attention. And I will be doing these lives. I also do the webinars monthly for the same reason, to get information out to applicants about how to strengthen your application. So if you have any additional questions, please contact us. You see my contact information there, my email, hello. You can call us at that phone number, 650-383-4306. You can even text that number as well. Okay. Let me know in the DM if you're finding the webinars I'm holding or these lives useful. And if there's anything you would like me to address in my next live, which will be in about 2 weeks or so. Take care. Have a good day, everyone. I'll see you soon.